Peace, fam. New Jeru here, and we're going to quickly discuss different versions of the Bible and how the Bible has been changed over time. Now, this information isn't easily Google search, so we're going to actually just Google search and see what we get, and then we're going to actually get into some information that's not just easily Google search like that. So, according to point number three of what the Muslims believe, it says, we believe in the truth of the Bible, but we believe that it has been tampered with and must be reinterpreted so that mankind will not be snared by the falsehoods that have been added to it. According to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in the book Fall of America, in chapter 31, it reads, America and her future was not known in the days when the Bible was being translated into the English language. Not until 1611 did the translators bring into existence what is known as the King James Authorized Version. According to history, there were several attempts made before to get the Bible to the people in the English language, but they were met with opposition. America was discovered in 1492. These translations of the Bible were far more near the truth than these later translations. The so-called Negro slaves were not given the King James Version to read until it was over 300 years old. The white slave masters were not interested in educated religious Negroes and are not today. The so-called Negroes now must understand that which was hidden from them by their slave masters. Now, if we just do a simple Google search of the oldest English Bible, you're going to come across a version called the Tyndale Bible. Now, looking at the Tyndale Bible, it says that it was written somewhere between 1494 to 1536. So, somewhere within that time period, that's when the Tyndale Bibles are being written. Now, in fact, the oldest Bible translation into English is the Wycliffe Bible. Now, the Wycliffe Bible, according to Wikipedia, was written from approximately 1382 to 1395. So we could see that's a much older time than the Tyndale Bible, that if you Google oldest English Bible, that's what they're showing there. So what's in this Wycliffe Bible that's different than the Tyndale Bible and even the King James version of the Bible? Now, the Tyndale Bible, you could Google that on your own, take a look at that if you want. We're going to really compare the King James Version to the Wycliffe version, because the Tyndale Bible is written in this convoluted, confusing kind of language that we really don't think that's going to serve the purpose of really showing the contrast. And plus, most of us use and grew up on the King James Version of the Bible and may have never even heard of the Wycliffe Bible. So we're going to utilize the passage Genesis 15:13 through 15 to really compare this King James Version to the Wycliffe version. And this passage specifically talks about 400 years of servitude, and we know that we here in America, in the diaspora, we've experienced 400 years of servitude, so we know that this is that fulfillment of that prophecy. But the level of how specific the different versions are is drastic. So we're gonna take a real close look at that. According to the King James Version, it says, And he said unto Abraham, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, afterward they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Now, that same verse in the Wycliffe version reads as follows: And it was said to him, Know thou before knowing that thy seed shall be a pilgrim 400 years in a land not his own, and they shall make them subject to servage, and they shall torment them. And the Lord said to him, Know thou a foreknowing, that thy descendants shall be foreigners in a land not their own, and they shall make them subject to servitude, or to slavery, and they shall torment them for 100 years. Nevertheless, I shall deem the folk to whom they shall serve, and after these things they shall go out with great cattle. Nevertheless, I shall judge the nation for whom they shall be slaves, and after these things they shall go out with many possessions. Forsooth, thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and shall be buried in a good old age. So, those are the two versions of and the different ways that they translate the same verses in the King James Version and as you saw in the Wycliffe version. So you're going to see that the words subject to servitude or to slavery, and they shall torment them. Those are very specific words used in the Wycliffe version versus what's used in the King James Version, which only says, and they shall afflict them. So you don't even know too much, you don't get as much detail there as you get in the Whitecleave version. So we just wanted to quickly point that out. What Elijah Muhammad pointed out in the book Fall of America, that these older translations are given that more information. And even if you just do a simple Google search, you're not going to get to really get this version, this Wycliffe version. But it is available online, so it's something that you could check out. We hope that you enjoyed this video here that we cut, and we'll see you on the next video.
Inside Washington's Museum of the Bible, a single volume that is like no other. The so-called Slave Bible, remarkable not for what's in it, but for what's not.
So about 90% of the Old Testament's been removed, and about 50% of the New Testament's been removed. To put it another way, a normal King James Version has 1,189 chapters in it. The Slave Bible has only 232.
Missing are chapters and verses that might have encouraged uprisings. Book of Exodus, redacted. No story of Moses demanding Pharaoh, "Let my people go." Gone is Galatians, and the verse, "There is neither bond nor free, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus." And no Jeremiah, "Woe unto him that useth his neighbor's service without wages."
What they've left in are verses such as Ephesians 6:5, which is the famous verse, "Slaves, be obedient to your master."
Looking at this Bible, it's hard to tell that anything's been taken out of it.
That's correct. I mean, it looks like a normal book. For many enslaved Africans, this would have been the first time they were exposed to the Bible.
A Bible selectively edited to instill obedience, using religion to underpin the horror of slavery. When people encounter this exhibit, what lasting impression do you want them to leave with?
Well, we want to pass the message on that may this never happen again. The Bible itself is a whole book. It's not one that you get to carve up and use this piece or that piece.
The Slave Bible designed to repress rebellion, but it didn't work. Enslaved people in the Caribbean constantly fought against slavery until emancipation.
I think it's very relevant to understand our history, not just American history, but our African American history, our roots and how we got to this point.
A dark chapter in the history of the good book. Jeff Bennett, NBC News, Washington.